Hello friends, today I will demonstrate how to create a customer and its dependent objects using APIs. While Oracle provides FBDI and ATFDI for bulk data loading, there are scenarios where you may need to trigger customer creation directly from an Apex or VBCS forms. In such cases, leveraging APIs offers a more dynamic and real-time approach. One of our use case was we wanted to trigger the customer creation process from a bespoke customer VBCS forms. The agenda of today's session would be we'll try to understand the customer creation API options. We'll also create party sites, and party site users using REST APIs. We'll create accounts, we'll create account site and account site users, and we'll also see how they are interlinked together. Then we'll see how to create account profile. Yeah, that's going to be profile class is going to be also very important because our advanced collection works on profile classes. And then we'll see how to create reference accounts. Those reference accounts are going to be used to pull out the revenue accounts and reference accounts and the tax accounts actually onto the invoice. Let's understand the customer creation and their associated APIs. The first one is to create the party record. For the party record, whether it's a person or it's an organization, you need to invoke REST API. The second one is creating the account. So once we have created party successfully, then we need to create account. Now, for account, Oracle has provided you SOAP API. After creating account sites and account site users, you need to create profile class. Now, this is going to be important for the advanced collection. And the last step, actually, which we are going to be covering is creating the reference accounts. Reference accounts are business unit specific, where you are going to be putting your reference accounts, revenue accounts, tax accounts, etc. So what happens is like when you are creating invoice, you will be able to derive those accounts from these reference accounts based on the business unit.
So let's create party. Now, look at the party could be a person, it could be organization. Now, if you need to create person record, you need to have this URI called hub persons, and it should be in the post operation. Now, if you want to create organization, then there's another REST API which is with hub organization. So only this part will change, whether it's a person record or it's an organization record, but URI is going to will remain the same. One thing you have to bear in mind, actually, all this logic needs to be incorporated in your integration layer. So based on the party type, either you need to fire this API or the organization API. Now, this payload, you can get it actually from Oracle with docs.oracle.com document. Some of the tags are important and some of them tags are like non-mandatory ones. So let's say party number. Party number is going to be very important because that's going to be a unique identifier for you. Party ID is generated by Oracle itself, and that's not going to be visible, but party number is going to be visible to you, and that is required. Now you're going to be putting the first name. I'm going to put the first name as Joe and last name as, let's say, 999, let's say. Yeah. Party usage code is external pay, and you can see the tags for address. Now you can have this an array. Now you can have many addresses. I can have two addresses, one for bill to and one for ship to. Now in this particular example, I'm giving the address number. The address number becomes the site number. Address type is bill to and ship to. Okay. So if the same address is bill to and ship to, you have to just make it as comma separated. But if the addresses are different, so one is going to be bill to is US and ship to is another address, then you have to create two addresses. Okay. Email address is also going to be important because email address will be creating as the contact points. Okay. So now, once I've executed this one, we'll see how it gets created within Oracle. Okay. Okay, so this record got created. Now we'll go back into Oracle Fusion to check how exactly it looks like. Into Oracle Fusion and we'll see how exactly our party record got created. So we'll have to come to Receivable Workbench, come to Billing, and select Manage Customer. Now we'll have to select the customer type. So we have created person record, and the name of the party was JobLog 999. If you see, like, we haven't created accounts and account sites, though we have created party sites and party site users, but it's not going to be visible unless we assign those to the accounts. Now we have successfully created party, which is the first exercise, which we have already done it. So this is the party number, Joe block 999, and it has got address as well actually, which is not visible right now, but that will come start panning out as soon as like we create account and account sites are going to be created, because account site and account site users are linked to the party site users. Okay. Next step is to create account. Now, if you see this WSDL file, so if you open this WSDL in SOAP UI, you'll find bunch of like APIs, a bunch of operations, like I would say create customer accounts, update customer accounts, find customer accounts, so on and so forth. So since we are trying to create customer account over here, we need a party ID. Now, party ID, when you're invoking REST API, you'll get the party ID and the party site ID. So I'll just quickly flip to my Postmans. Okay. Now, this is the record which we have created. Now, address ID becomes your party site ID, whereas party ID also you'll get it over here. Yep. So we are just going to form our like payload based on the information which we have received at the time of creating the party ID. So since we are creating accounts, we need that association. So the accounts, because accounts are going to be created within the party umbrella. So there are tags actually which are going to be mandatory, like I would say account name, account number, customer type. Now, customer type is revenue customer type, and there are two types basically. One is external and revenue ones. This is not mandatory, but we are just populating anyway for the sake of populating at the moment. But you can leave it blank. The customer class code, actually, we do have a customer class code which we have created explicitly for this particular project. Otherwise, this is also non-mandatory field. And some of the tags are going to be like date specific, when exactly this account needs to be activated, or what will be the starting date basically for this account. And if you see, the rest of the tags are related to account site and account site users. Now, since you got only one site, otherwise it will be repetitive. So now since we got one site, so that site is going to be party site ID. We're just going to be associating with party site ID. Okay. And the set ID is nothing but it's your reference set ID. Reference set ID is nothing but it's your, because your address, when you're creating the address is created, is associated to the reference data sets. So in this particular case, we have to mention like which data set this belongs to. Yeah. Then we got tags of site users and ship to. So it's a build to and ship to, and then we have additional DFFs. Now, since we got additional DFFs, we have to populate those DFFs. Some of them are mandatory, so for us. So, but for there might not be a DFF on the customer record. But in our case, actually, we have enabled many, I would say, mandatory DFFs. Some of them are global data elements, whereas some of them are context based. Now, this is the global, these are global data elements, but these are context based, which is like private customer details is my attribute category. And within that attribute category, I do have bunch of uh, segments or attributes like date of birth, nationality, staff number, healthcare number, hospital number, etc. Okay. And once you have done it, actually, you have to just press the submit button so that it gets created. Now, if it fails, we'll come to know. Let's press the button. So here is giving me an error message saying the date range for the child record must be within the range of its parent record. Updating the date. Now, what happened is that when you're creating the party record, I created the party record for today's date, which is 22nd of November. Whereas when I'm trying to create account, the account was created for the backdated one, which is not going to be possible. Your account cannot be created for the backdated. It should always be in line to your party record, or it should be a future date, right? But it cannot be a past date. So what I've done is I've changed the date to 22nd 11 2025, and then when I press the button it got created. So let's go back to Fusion and quickly check. So we'll come back to the same screen, billing screen, and we'll go back to manage customer. Okay, so we'll select our okay. So now if you see, like we have created earlier, we have created a party record, but now since we have created and associated our account, it will start appearing underneath. So this is my party record and this is my account record. And if you click on account, you can see all those information which we have populated in our SOAP API. Okay, so these are the additional like attributes which I was demonstrating to you. Date of birth, nationality, staff number. So these are the context based, which I haven't populated, but this appears. And I haven't populated like bank accounts and all those things, but you can always populate those bank accounts as well, actually. Now I'm not clicking on profile because we haven't created the profile. Okay, we go back to the site. Now, if you see like the party sites was already created, all we have done is we have just associated those party sites to the account sites. So this is my account number and this is my party site. And this is the set ID which I was referring to. It is reference data set. Okay, so this address belongs to the reference data set enterprise. That means this address can be applicable to any business unit. Yeah. Now we haven't populated the reference accounts, and I'll show you in a short while how exactly it will get created, right? So that's going to be like last step. So now I'm just trying to demonstrate the bill to site. So if you see the bill to site, this is my site number and this is my site number, and this is my primary bill to site and this is also secondary bill to site. Sorry, both are primary bill to sites. So one is bill to site and second is ship to site. Okay. Let's create profile. The next step to create profile class and associate that profile class to this customer. To create the profile, rather than like saying create profile, we can say we'll be associating the profile class to the customer. We are not going to be creating the profile class, but we can associate the profile class to the customer. I've already given the WSDL file in my presentation. So I've given all two WSDL files and one REST API. So you need to create this, you need to open this WSDL in your SOAP UI. And once you open it, actually it will ask you whether you want to create the test suite, right? But since I've not created, if you see this one, so one is like asynchronous and second one is a synchronous. First, we'll just concentrate on the synchronous one. If you expand this one, the first one is going to be create profile class. There are quite few update customer profile class. Even the create reference accounts is going to be part of this WSDL. Okay, so once you select this one, it will ask you. There are only few tags basically, and there are quite few tags I would say. Because what happens is like when you are associating the profile class to a customer, you can override some of the attributes which are specific to that customer. I'll quickly show you the one which I've removed unwanted ones, but I'll show you rest some of them. Take an example. Let's say I want this clearing days, because what happens is when you're associating the profile class, all those attributes are getting inherited to the customer. But some of them are going to be customer specific, which you can always change it over here, right? Like discount grace dates. Let's say in your customer profile class, the discount grace date was 5 days, whereas for this customer, when you're associating, you want to put it as 3 days. You can always override. Same goes with discount terms. Now, since I'm not touching those attributes, I'm keeping it as it is. So I'm not going to be populating those attributes, but you can do that. Yeah. So all I need basically is account number. I need profile class name and I need party ID. Okay, so this all comes actually from your previous API executions. Party ID comes from the REST API executions, and account number comes from your SOAP UI, SOAP API basically. Okay, so this customer profile doesn't exist. So we'll quickly check actually uh, which one is a valid one. Yeah, if you see this one, it is inactive. That was the reason actually, like it was not showing. Let's make it active. Okay, so behind the scene is running some processes, ESS jobs. Once the ESS job has been completed, because what happens when you're trying to make it active, it will try. So if that profile option has been associated to multiple customers, right? So it will try to activate those customer profiles as well. And now we'll come back to our execution. Okay, so this has been assigned. Okay, and now we'll come back to we'll come to accounts and quickly we'll check the profile history, and this shows you like this has been created. You can see those profile attributes, these are getting they're inherited basically and put it against the customer record, and you can tweak it. You can change some of the attributes at this point. Let's say when the profile class was created, the tolerance level was 10%, but only for this specific customer I want to put it as 5%. I can do that. To create reference accounts. Now, reference accounts are nothing but actually they are business unit specific, and they are always associated to the bill to site use. So if I've got bill to site then I need to populate those reference sites, because when you are creating invoice, you're selecting the bill to site, and when you and that those invoice requires the receivable accounts, those requires reference like revenue accounts, tax accounts, freight accounts, etc. If you don't put those accounts at the customer site level, then that's going to be inherited as from the system options. And because we want to make it specific to the customer, then it's always better to maintain at the customer site level. Because my the first segment is going to be entity segment. Now that can vary basically, right? So based on the business unit. So for each business unit, you have to maintain all those reference accounts for which you are going to be making the transaction. Okay, so we'll just quickly. So what I've done is I've just taken the payload and so there were like quite few non-mandatory fields which I've removed, right? But the mandatory ones are going to be like customer number, customer account number. So the first one is party number and a customer account number and site number. And now and this is the business unit which I'm going to be selecting. And these are revenue account combination, receivable account combination, tax code combination, freight account combination. Some might be there, some might not be there actually. You might not require actually unearned revenue or unbilled revenue. Okay, so let's execute this one. Now this is giving an error, customer account. This business unit is not valid. The business unit, because we have selected the address set, and that address set was not mapped to that business unit enterprise set. So for that reason, actually, it was giving error message. So what I've done is I've just corrected to the new business unit, which is called Public Health Agency, and then I've corrected those entity segments as well, actually, because those are the first segment is going to map to the legal entity. So let me execute now. Yes, great. Actually, it got created. Okay, let's go back to customer screen. I'll come back to accounts. Okay, I'll check the site number because it needs to be created against the bills to site, which I've said, right? So this is my bill to site. If you see like ship to site, it won't show me a reference account, but the moment you click on bill to site, it will start showing me, and you can see there's a public business unit is Public Health Agency, HCNA primary lecture, and so it's showing me the revenue accounts and the receivable accounts and the tax accounts. Okay. So this was the last step actually, which I've shown you. Like we have started, I'll just recap. We have created a party account. We have created account. We have created account site and site users. We have created customer profile classes, associating the customer profile classes to the customer, and then we have created reference accounts. Hope you liked my session. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.